After spending 55 days on the road across Canada in our tiny 6 square meter minivan, one of the questions we kept getting was, what did you actually pack? Hey friends, welcome back to Camp My Minivan. Packing is a huge part of the preparation. At first, we thought about bringing the whole house with us. However, that's not the point. We had to write down each person's top 3 priorities and then cross-check the item list so that we wouldn't end up sacrificing what matters most for the sake of space or overloading with things we don't actually use. So here are the things we packed with us that turned out to be the lifesavers throughout the trip. First are the cooking ingredients, including all the spice. We bought glass containers at Dollarama and portioned them for daily use. Since we planned to stop by our friend's house along the way, we could restock later, so there was no need to bring too much extra. These helped us survive at least 2 weeks before reaching a big city where Asian food and markets were available. We have a spice shelf. It's super accessible and within reach for both outside and inside cooking, which happens almost daily in our Vanlife routine. The next part of our cooking gear is the pots and pans. Since we were planning for both indoor and outdoor cooking, we brought 2 types of cookware along with 2 types of stoves. One type was for cooking at campgrounds when we had more space to use our bigger stove, wood fire, or when planning to cook larger meals to save for other dates. These big pots and pans take up space, so we stored them under our bed beside the clothing baskets for easy access. The other type of pots and pans, including the teapot, were from the Atwood set. These were mostly used for indoor cooking, heating up ready-to-eat meals for lunch, or for quick dinner when there were too many mosquitoes outside or when it was raining. So the advantage of these aluminum pots and pans is that they are thin, so they use less gas to heat up, and they are also very lightweight and super easy to clean. Sometimes we could even wipe them clean before getting access to a campground for deeper cleaning. After using them, we store them neatly inside the kitchen drawer. When it comes to the stove, since we have 2 clear purposes, we also brought 2 types of stoves. The bigger one has 2 burners and requires propane, and the other one is the portable and use isobutane. So we brought 2 propane tanks and 2 isobutane canisters, which ended up being just enough for the trip. One thing we also wanted to highlight is that sometimes at campgrounds, we use the setup together with firewood to save gas and materials, and it was pretty handy and also a lot of fun. The next big items in our cooking preparation were the appliances, including the mini air fryer and the rice cooker. We were confident in bringing these 2 items because they save us a lot of time when cooking meals we normally eat in daily life. The only thing that surprised us at first was how much electricity these 2 required to operate. Our first nights were at Cypress Hills Provincial Park in Saskatchewan, and we ended up booking a service campground. We chose this to test how life with a Bluetooth battery and a solar panel could sustain us. We were so ready to hook up our rice cooker and air fryer for a cozy roasted chicken meal until we realized that they would drain all the battery power in just 1 hour. We were shocked and had to switch to plan B, using pots, pans, and wood to cook our meals. Luckily at Cypress Hills, firewood was free to use, and we survived our first few days knowing that cooking routine had to be slightly different than what we have imagined. Later in the trip, we still used the rice cooker and air fryer quite often, but mostly at service campgrounds where we had access to shore power. For our next trip, these 2 items are definitely still on our packing list. The next important item that takes up space but is very essential for us is the fridge. We plug it in whenever we have shore power while traveling or on unplugged dates. We mainly use it to prevent food from spoiling. It can keep food fresh for about 2 days. We also use ice packs, which help extend the cooling time by a few more hours. Most of the time, we use the fridge to store cold water for hot dates, milk, ready-to-eat meals that we cooked in advance, and vegetables. To make sure hot weather doesn't ruin raw food, we plan our raw meat and eggs so we can consume them within maximum of 2 days without electric cooling. Otherwise, we use the Bluetooth battery to power the fridge for extra few hours repairs if things don't go according to the plan. The fridge we chose use about 100 and 200 watt per hour and can go below 0 degree, keeping the food cold up to 12 hours when unplugged. Prioritizing power usage becomes something we naturally learned along the way. So far, our food has always stayed fresh and well prepared, so we strongly recommend this size of fridge for a minivan. It can be stored neatly under the kitchen drawer, pulled in and out easily, and sometimes even used as a table for quick meal preparation. And this setup fits us so well that we regret nothing. Cooking took up most of the space, from cooking gear to the fridge and also the storage. We had 2 big boxes reserved for drive and canned food, mostly for breakfast or quick meals when we had to stop in public areas where cooking wasn't very convenient. Since we mostly cook Asian cuisine, stocking up on Asian ingredients is important for us. Luckily, we could easily find what we needed in every big city we visited along the way. So that's everything about our cooking setup, from spices to stoves to power lessons and fridge management. Looking back, the kitchen really became the heart of the van. In the next video, we'll share the rest of our setup and the things that make living in 6 square meters actually work on the road. See you in the next one. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel to follow our future trips.